It's Monday, August 19th, and welcome back to the Damon Bruce Show here on Damon Bruce Plus, brought to you by Ike Sandwiches. It is fantastic having you here. August 19th, first day of San Francisco schools opening back up. A lot of you probably out there sending kids today. Mine went off to kindergarten for the very first time. Lots of kids, though, going back to school. So it's that time of year. We're through 2 preseason games. Back to school sales are everywhere. It's officially football time in America once again, baby. We're getting closer.
Maximum!
Hell yeah. It's coming. It's happening. It's coming. It's happening. I'm really excited about it. It is so good to have you here. Hit like and subscribe by hitting like right now. Don't wait to the end of the channel, the end of today's video and live stream to hit a like. Hit one right now, and that helps this message get spread across YouTube. Please hit subscribe. It's wonderful to have you here. Just did over an hour plus with Larry Krueger. An awful lot of 49ers were discussed on Wake Up, which is going to be coming to you 3 days a week. This show comes to you 5 days a week, and this is a little bit of everything. We got a few things to show you here and talk about today before we send you packing on your way this glorious Monday. But first, it's great to have you. Like and subscribe. Thank you so much. We're brought to you and powered by BetUS, which is the book that I want you to check out. You can find the description in the video's description below, the link that I need you to have. I'm supposed to pin an actual comment, but I forgot to pin the comment. I was busy in between shows. I didn't have the time, but the description of the video is below. BetUS right now. It's the best book that you're going to use in California because you can use it in California. 125% bonus on your first 3 deposits up to $2,000. An excellent interface and fun gaming just waiting for you. If you're going to have a book in your life, make a book and a date with BetUS using the link below in the description of this video.
BetUS.com. Get it all. Huge bonuses, great odds, a race book, live in-game betting, and a casino. BetUS, my online sports book and casino.
Nothing but crazy love from my man Ike, and that's where I'd love you to go for lunch today, but I don't want you to just think about Ike's in terms of dinner or in terms of just lunch. Ike's for dinner. Ike's for dinner as well. That is a delicious filling sandwich. All kinds of options for you. And again, the burgers at the Mission Rock location are to die for. Get yourself there down by the ballpark if you can. And when it comes to a delicious drink, you go get yourself a great drink, and you do it at the Dubliner in West Portal in San Francisco. Love the guys at the Dubliner. Kenny and John said, Damon, do you want to come with us to the Final A's game? I said, I've been to a lot of Final A's games. No, they mean the real Final A's game, and they got a suite. I said, sweet. What'd you mean? Concrete bunker? They're like, yeah. I'm like, okay, I'll do that. We'll talk about them, not just my friends at the Dubliner, but the A's here and a little bit of the Giants in just a little bit. But now that we've got all the business out of the way, thank you to Ike's. Thank you to the Dubliner. Thank you very much to BetUS. Thank you to you for being here again. Like and subscribe. And how often in your life have you ever watched a guy who didn't even compete in a game win a game? How often did a guy who wasn't even out there be the winner? Because that happened in Santa Clara. Without playing a snap, without even being in the building, Trent Williams was the biggest winner of a preseason NFL game because the 49ers got to get that guy in. And this also brings us back to the constant conversation of Brandon Aiyuk, and it is time to get him in as well. Did you see that completely inefficient, lopsided, not impressive at all passing attack do very little? I did. Brock Purdy was put in a situation where Kyle Shanahan should get out of bed this morning and just say, I'm lucky I didn't get my guy hurt because I certainly didn't get my guy any quality work. There wasn't a single valuable rep for my starting quarterback really anywhere to be found in that game. I appreciate playing your starting quarterback in the preseason to warm him up. What I don't appreciate is him playing behind anything other than a state-of-the-art offensive line, and that was not the state of the offensive line for the 49ers last night. Not even close. Not even close, but Purdy was still out there. He was hit more times than he completed passes, and that to me is not the ratio you're ever looking for. Brock Purdy is lucky that nothing happened. Kyle Shanahan's very lucky that nothing happened. Why you would expose such a precious natural resource in a moment where you knew you weren't doing the absolute best to protect him, I don't get it. But the Niners made that choice, and they're lucky to have survived that choice. It's a no harm, no foul situation. Again, it's all fun and games until somebody loses an eye. Nobody lost an eye. I guess there should be a transition to Aiyuk, but that would just be shameless, and I don't want to do that. But it's officially time to get both those guys in. Again, if the 49ers are going to give him $30 million, why don't you just start there? You know, you're going to cave and do that. I don't care about bruised egos anymore. The job is get your guys in, get them ready to play against the Jets on September 9th, Monday Night Football. Dun, 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 dun. That's it. That's the only job right now. I don't care who looks good, who looks bad, whose ego gets bruised, whose reputation takes a hit, who gets made fun of, who gets tweeted about. I don't care. Trent Williams, sign him, get him in. Brandon Aiyuk, sign him, get it in. You got a big, nasty football season coming up, and it's coming fast. It's coming fast, so get it done. I loved what we saw out of Dominic Pooney last night. This guy is the best offensive lineman on the field last night, and he's a rook. He is the real deal. He probably starts week one. If you didn't want to start him week one because, again, the Jets come in with such a nasty defensive line, I would get it. If you wanted to err on the side of the little experienced, I would get it. You want to work him into that game instead of starting him into that game, I get it. If you just want to start him too, I think I get that. Kid looks legit. He really does. Jacob Cowing makes an appearance in a 49ers uniform for the very first time, and it was an impressive first look at Cowing. Not only did he lead the team in receptions and receiving yards, he also had an end around that went for 19 yards. He looks like a football player who's going to fit into this offense for sure. Really liked the never get a chance to make a first impression, Jake Cowing last night. A second impression of a backup punter remained impressive. Presley Harvin has kicked his way, I would think, onto some NFL roster. It won't be the Niners because they're going with Mitch Wisnowski as soon as he's healthy again. But man, I thought that he had a pretty good night. Unfortunately, Ronnie Bell, Danny Gray, couple of guys who are trying to put something on film to continue to make the argument that they belong on this roster did not have good nights. Not even real close to good nights. So I don't think either of those guys is going to be a part of this season when it starts for real. There's a lot of conversation today about QB2. Who is going to be the next guy up should Brock Purdy go down? The next guy up in just Sunday's game was Josh Dobbs, who looked okay. Brandon Allen, he looks okay. I think both of these guys are doing enough to compete for the job without the other guy screwing up so cataclysmically that they hand the other guy the job. There's a healthy QB2 competition going on between the two. I think that that's good for business, and it really is going to boil down to, Kyle, what do you want to get you through the rough time should it occur? Do you want a guy who fits your system and is a little bit more familiar with it based on time spent around it than the other guy? That would be Brandon Allen. Do you want someone who's a little bit more of an improviser, someone who can make something out of nothing when things start going wrong around him, could be able to pull a play out of his rear end? That feels like it could be Josh Dobbs. Keeping both of those guys and then fulfilling all the other roster desires to keep that guy, protect that guy, don't expose that guy to waivers, don't put that guy in your practice squad, somebody's going to get him. Yeah, I mean, they're running out of room. They're running out of bodies. They're running out of roster spots already. So I really do think that if we sodium pentothal Kyle Shanahan and asked him, tell us straight up, who is your roster? He could do it pretty much that 53rd guy. Like, I think he knows who's on this team and who isn't. And I don't know if there's going to be a preseason moment that is going to change Kyle's mind at this particular time. I really don't. I think the lineup, the roster is pretty much set. There might be a surprise or two, but, you know, is Garendo on this team? Is Cody Schrader going to be on this team? How do you keep both of those guys with roster crunches happening everywhere? Again, Larry and I were just talking about keeping 6 cornerbacks. If you're keeping 6 cornerbacks, you're going to have to say goodbye to one backup running back, one backup offensive lineman. I wouldn't be in the let's cut backup offensive lineman business too aggressively either, because that's a position that gets banged up. And when it gets funny, the whole football team gets screwy. Tough times and tough choices. That's why you need tough men to make them. It's football, baby. Here we go. I liked Malik Mustafa and the way that he played in this game. I like everything about that guy. I did see him get washed out of one play too. That's all right. He's a rookie. He's playing his second game ever. But Malik Mustafa can play. He's going to play valuable reps. Him and Dominic Pooney are probably going to affect this season more than the rookie wide receivers that the team drafted, than any other player, than any other rookie on this team. Mustafa and Renardo Green, I think, is going to see an awful lot of time in that secondary. Renardo Green made a really nice play on third down. He has flashed a few times in preseason play. Curtis Robinson, the backup linebacker who played for Fred Warner tonight. This guy is taking himself off of special teams and putting himself on the defense. I mean, that obviously can't happen because it's Fred Warner's job, but this kid's a player. He's a player that you're going to want to keep around for real, and he is going to get on-field snaps defensively this year. He's not just a special teams guy. Curtis Robinson can play. Jalen Graham can play. So those guys are going to be very interesting to see, not only how they're kept on the roster, but then how they actually get used in the regular season. And if buying, let's call it snap counts, instead of pitch counts, it's snap counts. Keeping Fred Warner's snap count down when a game is in pocket. Hey, Curtis, go in there and clean it up. Go do that job. I loved what we saw out of Jair Brown. He absolutely buried Taysom Hill. I thought that Jordan Elliott played well. I thought that Yatir Gross-Matos flashed a little bit with some edge rush that made Derek Carr uncomfortable. I thought that Derek Carr looked an awful lot like Derek Carr, which is that constant state of just good enough to let him do the job, but not quite good enough that you don't constantly look for somebody else to do the job better than him. That's where Derek Carr lives. That's the neighborhood that he lives in. But, an awful lot of important names in the neighborhood weren't anywhere around that game in terms of game action. The Niners, for most part, outside of Brock Purdy and Colton McKivitz, they benched the rest of their starters. I guess we can kind of count Pooney in there now too, right? But it was a cast of the other guys playing offense and defense against a cast of these are the New Orleans Saints for a bit of that first half. And it's not like the Saints were out there world beating the 49ers. So, don't take too much away from any preseason game other than who got hurt. In this case, no one. So that's a good night. That's a good night, even though it wasn't a good night of 49ers offense, execution, or really game planning to begin with. I thought it was a pretty good night. And hopefully there's only one more of these that we're going to have to interpret as to what did we just see before we start seeing it for real and it actually happens. And that cannot happen fast enough. Let's get to it. Let's officially get to it. You look around the NFL this past weekend, there were a few rookie quarterbacks officially sort of making their case to be the starter. Obviously, Caleb Williams, it would have been a shocker to see anyone start for the Bears this year, but Bo Nix is a guy in Denver who is trying to win over a job. He might have won over his coaching staff with the weekend that he just had. Caleb Williams, very impressive. Bo Nix, very impressive. Obviously J.J. McCarthy is out of the mix for the entire year. So Sam Darnold, he's got to go be the quarterback of the Vikings now. As Brandon Aiyuk was really considering maybe becoming a Pittsburgh Steeler, somehow, some way, allowing that to happen to his career, I'm wondering if he watched any of that Pittsburgh game and thought, why do I want to be a Pittsburgh Steeler? Look at that offense. Not that the offense that the 49ers had was on some dazzling display of wonderful football, not even close, but careful what you ask for, Brandon. You almost got it. I really think that Brandon Aiyuk is signed in the next 24, 48 hours. Trent Williams, same thing. I don't care about the money. I don't care about how hard it is to make all these numbers fit on the back end. I've been watching football long enough to know that you can make it fit for anyone who you want to fit in. And this team needs to have Brandon Aiyuk fit in because their offense without him doesn't look like much. Not that we've installed game plans and had offensive lines out there kicking ass and real things happening yet, but unimpressive is pretty much the way I would describe the 49ers receiving core at this particular time on August 19th. Unimpressive. So bring in your most impressive wide receiver to make this a tad more impressive. I would do that. I would highly suggest that. Nothing much more to tell you about. A preseason game that was survived. Brock Purdy got hit way too hard and a little too often for me to want to expose him to any football behind anything other than a starting offensive line between here and the final preseason game. I don't know how these guys are going to be used in the final preseason game. So let's see how it all rolls out. I would almost kind of sit everybody again. I wouldn't get anybody hurt in a stupid preseason game anyway, anyhow. By the way, we break for Super Chats. Anthony, thank you very much. $2 for the real OG. Damon F. Bruce. Well, thank you, Anthony. Thank you very, very much. Means a lot. I've been around here a minute or two. There's no doubt about that. So if that convinces or confers real OG status upon someone, I'll take it and I'll say thank you. Also want to say thank you to the Real Skills, the Skills Report. Nap at my desk, dreamt me, Susan Lucci, Bert from Sesame Street, two random guys, won a hoops game. Okay, so we're fever dreaming early. Skills Report, who is apparently putting get-togethers together on the East Bay and getting together with friends that he's made in the chat. And this is why our chat kicks ass. It's good to see so many familiar faces and names in here. Freaking love this chat. My kind of people. I'm not going to go on a Tanner Mordecai endorsement the way that Larry just went on one. I don't feel that strongly about Tanner Mordecai one way or the other yet. I do know that if any point in time you see Tanner Mordecai on the football field taking important snaps for the Niners, you're pretty fucked. So hopefully that doesn't happen. And that's not a shot at Mordecai. That's just a shot at for the Niners to be the Niners. I hope Brock Purdy is out there helping them be the Niners all gosh darn year long. So let's see. What else is there to talk about that just happened over the weekend and in Bay Area sports? The NFL, it's coming, baby. Feels good. Feels right. What didn't feel good and what didn't feel right was the Bay Bridge series over in Oakland. I think a lot of people went over there out of morbid curiosity, whether it be baseball morbid curiosity, stadium morbid curiosity. There was a lot of compassion, I think, shown between Giants fans and A's fans who spent so much time yelling at each other. They never realized how much they actually kind of liked each other and how we're all neighbors and how that neighborly rivalry is going to be taken away by an owner who, is clearly not liked by any of his neighbors. Nobody likes John Fisher. What a crying shame that you could feel the value of a Bay Bridge rivalry, a Bay Bridge series. You could feel it tangibly meaning less than it ever has before. And it's not just because it's coming to an end, but that's the status of what Major League Baseball gets to enjoy when you got two teams trying their absolute hardest to go nowhere as fast as possible. Now the A's are doing the opposite of that. They actually trying to ruin. They tried to ruin everything, and they have. The Giants are theoretically trying to win baseball games, and theoretically they do. They are as 500 a baseball team as I've ever seen. But they sprinted as hard as they could to get to 500. That's what leaves everyone so unimpressed with it. Baseball just means less. There's no doubting it. Baseball means less than it ever has before, and baseball has never meant less than it does in Oakland, and that was by design, and that's the pain of it all. That's what hurts. And it's just all it feels like a waste because you look at that all and you look at, as dumpy as a place it is when there's a decent crowd in there, you take a big bird's eye shot of the place and you're like, looks pretty good. Looks really green. That field is beautifully manicured. We could have absolutely played baseball in here. If an owner had tried to make this a good experience, it would have been. They tried to make it an awful experience, and that's exactly what it became. So you finally did something you planned on doing, John Fisher, you fucking dope. I hope your bus crashes on the way up to Sacramento. Seriously. God, I hate them. Big day. Jack off to kindergarten. I got some proud papa feelings. There is that time where you see the lessons that you're trying to ingrain, the confidence that you're trying to build and install into your kid. And again, confidence is not something I can put in you. You either have it or you don't. I can set you up to have self-confidence, but the key word of self-confidence is self. So you got to have it yourself. My man had it today. My little man had it when he marched in. Didn't even look back. Grabbed his, the kids were told, take the hand of a kid in the class, and we're walking to the classroom, and they walked away from the parents. And you could see some kids starting to well up and that lip quiver. They're looking at mom and dad thinking, oh no, this ain't good. Not my little guy. He grabbed the hand of his little buddy, and they marched on off into class behind Mrs. Walsh, who is their teacher, who is charming as hell. It's like Central Casting sent down a delightful kindergarten teacher. But that was awesome. It really was. It was awesome. It was awesome to see it. I feel like a proud parent today. I really do. I was telling Jack how this is going to open up a new chapter of his life where he now has summers off from school. He said, Dad, what's an off summer? I said, well, an off summer means you get a couple months off where you don't go to school, and we'll go on trips, and you'll do things like go camping. And I'm sure you and I will go away and do something, just you and me, your mom, you and Ozzy. I'm sure the two of you, the three of you guys will go away. I'm sure we'll all go away together as a family, of course, but it's a summer. It's fun. We fill it with a lot of activities and things like that. He's like, really? You don't just go all year long? Just go, no, kid, your life is about to open up in ways you can't imagine. New things on the horizon, baby. It's exciting. It really is. So I'm in proud papa mode. My wife is in very proud mama mode. So many of you have been so supportive of my kids, either, by liking, subscribing, by watching, by making this into a real business that I've been able to create and help support my family with. Luckily, my wife makes real money too, or else I'd have to go get a real job. But this is the beauty of where we are. We get to do this and we all get to know each other. And it gets real personal. So I absolutely love seeing you guys out there. Really do. Look at Jack out there, big dipping it, big dogging it. Yeah, big dogging, big dipping, whatever, Big Mac. It was great to see him do it. Great to see him do it. Kid's got some freaking confidence. Michael, thank you very much. Michael saying, congrats, Jack. My younger started at kindergarten too. My nephew starting at West Portal. Boom. Boom. That's our side of the town, Michael. We're not at West Portal. But it's a fun moment. It's a very fun moment. It's a gratifying moment. Very gratifying moment today. So I wanted to share that with you because we tend to share things here. There's one more thing that I want to share with you, and that's my screen. Because I saw something shared by Colin Cowherd that I looked at and I said, okay, there's the future right there. Every single NFL team needs to open sequences of these bars, these arenas for people to walk into. All sports bars should be incorporating what I am about to show you. This is from Colin Cowherd. He shared this over on Twitter, and it looks like he is sitting at a soccer game in some soccer stadium over in Europe. Does it not? Looks like he's right behind the goalie. He is actually at a bar. I guess there are two of these places that have opened in Long.
Attackers love and defenders terrified of.
It looks like you're there.
Left wing corner in rapid
That's
succession.
an 8K screen. It looks like you're there. This is the future of watching sports. It looks like you're sitting in a stadium, Alamo Draft House. You're getting You're getting everything brought to you. It looks like you're actually at the game. They give you a shot that looks like it's a stadium shot. And if that ain't the future of watching sports in a sports bar, I don't know what the hell is. Look at that. That is awesome.
Manchester United defending with less than total conviction. Down to Smith Rowe.
That is freaking awesome. That's what I want. It's like the Sphere, but for sports. You're totally immersed in it. That's the future, kids. Leslie, speaking about West Portal. Hey, the Dubliners in West Portal. Absolutely, Leslie. So I can't wait for my kids to go to West Portal. I can immediately go to the bar when I drop them off. But isn't that incredible? Otis Bird. Wow, that's dope. I don't even know the name of the place. I got to do a little bit more research. But Colin Cowherd just shared that yesterday or over the weekend of this bar that he was allowed to come in and look at. Chef A, like, damn, that's scary. Got Steve Pecker on. Wow, sign me up for that. Look pretty cool, right? Hey, Damon, is a Dubliner getting that? No. Steve, I can't imagine Damon doing a real job that doesn't involve sports talk. Yet neither can I, Steve. That's the scary thing. That's it. This is what I can do. What skill do you have? You're looking at it. Here it is. Again, we break for Super Chats. Thank you very much, Anthony. Again, Brock Purdy just overthinking the defense and the situation. He'll look at the tapes and be like, man, what are you doing? On the Raiders, also, Kyle putting Brock in that situation. It's a dick move by him. Look, I thought that it was a mistake for Kyle to play Brock behind an offensive line that wasn't a state-of-the-art offensive line. And then calling like a naked bootleg, what are you doing? Why are you exposing your quarterback to contact in a game where him not getting contact is kind of what you're hoping for, but it's also good that Purdy took contact. I'll give you that. If you say on to the Raiders, hey, Gardner Minshew, baby, there's your starting quarterback. Minshew mania at Allegiant Stadium for Raiders fans. And Kyle putting Brock in that situation. Kind of a dick move. Look, I'm telling you, Kyle is lucky that nothing severe, nothing to report happened. Niners Worldwide was like, damn, that's a simulation simulator. Pretty cool, right? A simulation sensation. Rockin' New Era 84. That is how Tim Roy would absolutely describe it, no doubt. Is that in Vegas? No, that is in LA. And I guarantee you those are going to be popping up everywhere. Everywhere. Maybe even in Ireland. Padraig, hello. We're doing well, my lad. Thank you for asking. There's no job I would do worse, Ryan. Damon, what if you'd be a really good accountant? Have you seen me try to relay stats and numbers to you? Have you seen me do math in my head real time? It's a disaster. Here's a question. How do the bathrooms look? Any troughs? Only the classy places have the troughs, I would imagine. But there you go. Look, I'm going to be completely honest. I'll never lie to you. This was a show that I kind of scrambled in to do because of a very busy, complicated first day at kindergarten. By the time I got back here, I was hopping on with Larry. We started late enough to where I didn't even have time to make myself a cup of coffee. There was no sip of the day today. I haven't even had my coffee today, so that's about to get taken care of. But thank you so much for watching, for liking, for subscribing, for being a part of this community. It is a real community. There's no doubt about that. And it's an honor to have you here. Thank you very much. Hey, Big Mac, maybe you're right. Damon, you'd be a great Walmart greeter. Just start arguing sports with random patrons as they're walking in. Start teasing them about the jerseys that they're wearing. Maybe some Walmart greeting is in my future. We'll all have to find out together. So keep it right here, locked into this channel to see if the channel succeeds or he does end up at Walmart after all. Thank you very much for tuning in on the podcast, on the YouTube channel. No matter how you consumed, thank you for doing so. And please remember that sports don't build character, they reveal it. And like that, he's gone.